I want to take action in the area of advocacy on a topic that's very personal, but I'm having trouble figuring out what direction to go in. So I decided to bring it to this episode of the podcast and ask for your help. You're listening to the PHEC podcast, episode 416. The field of public health is so broad, overlapping multiple industries. With epidemiology at the core of public health, there are an unlimited number of ways to target specific populations, health conditions, environmental issues, and causes that matter most to you. My name is Dr. Huntley, and I'm the host here on the Public Health Epidemiology Conversations podcast. I'm an epidemiologist, consultant, and entrepreneur with over 20 years of experience in healthcare and public health. On this podcast, my guests and I engage in conversations that demonstrate the importance of public health and epidemiology across a variety of industries, helping you think outside the box and inspire greater positive impact in communities around the world. Now, let's dive into the topic of this brand new episode. Greetings, everyone, and thank you for joining me on this episode. My name is Dr. Charlotte Huntley, and I lead an epidemiology consulting firm that supports large nonprofit organizations, community health foundations, and government agencies. We specialize in helping our clients communicate their data and health information in plain language to the communities they serve. The support we provide often falls in the category of strategic planning and sometimes capacity building. Please reach out to us through our website at drchuntley.com. We'd be happy to meet with you and explore how we may be able to support your organization. And links will be provided in the show notes. Now, on the previous episode, I shared an example of our communication support provided through moderating the American Public Health Association's Policy Action Institute, and I also shared some of my takeaways. Be sure to listen to that episode if you haven't already. I was personally inspired by my experience and want to take action, but I'm having trouble figuring out how. So I decided to bring it to this episode and ask for your help. Now, let me share a bit of context and a little bit of backstory just in case you're not familiar, and then I'll explain how you can help me. So at the time that this episode is being released, it should be, if everything works out in our background, because I do record in advance. So when this is released, it should be Tuesday, August 5th of 2025. And it represents almost to the day, the 1-year mark of when my husband and I lost our son in a motorcycle accident. I've shared this. I don't share it all the time, but I did share it shortly after it happened. We sent an email out and explained what happened. I've shared it on a couple of podcast episodes, little updates, and I talk about my grief journey, which is so complicated. But that's not the focus here today. The reason I wanted to take today and dedicate this to the memory of our son, his name is Nicholas, is because one of the things that I wanted to do from the very beginning, I wanted to use this energy, the anger, the frustration of what happened, and turn it into something good. I need to advocate. I need to advocate for change. And I don't exactly know how to do that. So let me explain a little bit further. So Nicholas was 19. He bought a motorcycle. He wanted this motorcycle. For the record, I absolutely did not want to have anything to do with motorcycles. It was a hard no for me all along. And Nicholas is my bonus son, to be putting all into context. And he's the youngest of all of our children. We have a blended family. He's the youngest. And so he bought the motorcycle and he did whatever he's supposed to do for safety lessons. A theme that you hear me say, or my friends hear me say all the time, is he did everything right. Like, he did what he knew to do. He wasn't speeding at the time of the accident. We did buy him one of those jackets that kind of protects the body in case you fall kind of from scrapes, but it absorbs some of the impact and saves from like abrasions or scratches. He had the jacket on and zipped up. He had his helmet on. Like, he did all the right things. He was, like I said, not speeding. Even the a woman turned in front of him at an intersection and just didn't see him. And he hit her car. They collided at the intersection. And from what we understand, it was right on impact. So he didn't suffer. It was instant. But the woman even, there was actually, because of the intersection, there was actually video camera of the whole incident. Of course, we did not watch that, but the authorities did. And the police officer that did review it, that wrote the report, said you could see her waiting carefully for a spot in traffic to turn. She just didn't see him. So it's not that we can blame her and we can't blame him. Like, it was purely an accident by definition. So because Nicholas loved his motorcycle, he enjoyed riding, it's difficult for me to put my energy into advocating for no motorcycles. What route do I go in? How can I advocate for something? Awareness of motorcycles? Do I advocate for better safety? I mean, maybe there's something more that could have been done, or I just am very stuck, and I've been stuck here for quite a while. And so here's where last week, when I talked about my experience at Policy Action Institute, I was listening to the speakers, and I listened to people that participated. I listened to legislators, and I listened to all of these things, connecting with the why and the stories, the storytelling, all of these things. And I thought, if I could figure out how to advocate or what to advocate for, I would love to throw myself into some activity that could, I guess, honor him in some way or improve health and safety and for people who do ride motorcycles, although that feels a little conflicting because I don't like motorcycles. So I'm just a little conflicted. So I think that I need some perspective outside of my head from trusted, especially public health focused people. So that's why I'm bringing it to this podcast. And what better time than a year almost to the date of the accident it actually was on a Tuesday. So as you're hearing this, it's the number of days, but it happened to be August 6th and not the 5th. But at any rate, I would love to hear some feedback. So here is how you can help me. I haven't even done research. During the time when I posted about this, I got a lot of resources, and most of it was, some people talked about, advocacy groups and so forth. And it just I couldn't process that. I took in all the grief support, the grief resources. And for the longest, that's all I could focus on, was getting the grief support and those resources in place. And maybe about 3 or 4 months ago, I can't remember, timeline is a little foggy right now, but I did share that we were able to, my husband wanted to have a sign put up at the site. And so there's a sign that says, drive safely. And it's in his memory, it's got his name, Nicholas Huntley, and it's at the site of the crash. And we felt really good about doing that. But that kind of inspired me a little more. I wanted to do something in the advocacy lane. And so I started thinking, what can I do? I like that sign there. It kind of jolted something in me. So for the last several months, I've been trying to figure out what I can do, and I'm just stuck. I'm literally just stuck. I can't think of anything fresh. Okay, so here's how you can help me. What are your thoughts? I'm pretty sure some of you have some ideas for me. If I go all against motorcycles, then I feel like that's not truly honoring him, because he loved his motorcycle and he did all the right things as far as what we knew to do. So is there something more that needs to be done and in place? Do I advocate for that? So I would love to hear from you all, what comes to your mind as you think about this, as you listen to me and you think about it and you process. What thoughts do you have? And maybe it's, you don't have a clear thought, but maybe you're aware of a group that's advocating for people who love to ride their bikes. Maybe you love your motorcycle. You're listening to me and you have a motorcycle and you enjoy riding your motorcycle. What can I do to support and advocate for safety and increased awareness on the road? I don't know what else could be done. My husband's had 1,000,001 ideas about gadgets that could be added to motorcycles. I'm not really sure I can get behind any of those, but I would love to hear from you. So I've created a form, and it's so that I can hopefully organize how I can collect your responses. I don't want to send you to the website and have things get lost there. But if you do happen to go to the website and submit your thoughts, make sure you include that you were listening to this episode and share your thoughts. That way it'll get to me. But I created a form and I'm having it in the show notes and also the description for this episode. So if you're listening and you happen to be, say, in Spotify or any of the podcast apps, you should be able to click a link and it should open that form for you right on your mobile device or wherever you're listening. And if you happen to go to the show notes page, it'll be there as well. So I've created this form. I want to collect your contact information so that if you submit something to me and I want to invite you to a conversation and maybe we talk about a little bit more to get more understanding or clarity or bounce it back and forth, I want to be able to reach out to you if you're okay with that. If you just have, maybe you don't have an idea about how I can advocate, but maybe you have an idea or you want to share a resource about a motorcycle group. I haven't even really researched statistics that much. So maybe, if you're a student and this has been an area that you've researched for your dissertation, or, maybe this is an area of work that, you specialize in and you have some resources and statistics available, publicly available, of course, that you're at least freely able to share with me. I would love that. This form is set up so that you can share a link to anything or you can upload something to it. But I want you to have space to share your thoughts and then a way that I can communicate with you as well afterwards. So look in the description for this information. You can share your thoughts, suggestions, ideas, resources. I'm really open because I'm just stuck and I think I just need your help to get it out of my head. So I will provide an update once I figure out what next steps are with all of you, and a link to the form I just talked about will be provided in the description as well as the show notes. Now, the show notes for this episode, which is episode 416, can be found at phecpodcast.com. And once you're there, just navigate to episode 416 to find its show notes. I really appreciate all of you for just considering that, or if at the very least, just listening this far into the episode and giving me the moment to honor our son. I really appreciate that. All right, everyone. Until next time, have a fantastic rest of your day. Thank you for listening to the Public Health Epidemiology Conversations podcast. Visit phecpodcast.com to find the show notes for each episode and to learn how to work with me.